Wow, I haven't sat down and actually talked about a topic with you guys in a while. Huh. Maybe that was for the best. Welcome to Studio Ginger, the place where all fun goes to die, and let me just say I'm glad to have you back. But all introductions pushed aside, I'm actually very excited about what we're going to be talking about today. Because every summer, in the midst of all the heartbreak, the boredom, and the rain, there's always one thing that I look forward to, one saving grace each and every summer, and that would be E3. For the people who don't know what E3 is, let me just say it's an acronym for We Are Nerds. That's obviously a joke. Hopefully, some of you understood that. I know people are a little slow nowadays. But what E3 actually is the Electronic Entertainments Expo, and it's fantastic. Essentially, all these big-name powerhouses in the names of technology like Microsoft and Sony and Nintendo, they all come together at this one venue and just show off what they got. Whether that be video games or consoles or TVs, just anything pertaining to household entertainment, this is their chance to just show it to the general public to boost hype and, predicted sales. And let me tell you, I eat it all up. And this year was good. There were so many good quality games to be shown, and I'm just really excited to talk about a few of them. There were so many of them that I'm not gonna cover everything, but I have crafted a list of 5 of the best things that I saw at E3. Now, my list doesn't go in any particular order. These are just 5 things that I put down that just really stood out in my mind as something that me, as a consumer, am very interested in playing and purchasing and having fun with. So without further ado, these are 5 of the best things I saw at E3 2017.
Number 5.
Assassin's Creed Origins. Before I actually start talking about the game, am I the only one who doesn't like when things are titled something Origins? It seems like it's been done to death. You have like Batman Arkham Origins, you have Assassin's Creed Origins, you have X-Men Origins, Wolverine, you've got Dragon Age Origins, Rayman Origins, Condemned Criminal Origins. Origins is just so overblown and oversaturated. I think it's one of those words that was like really cool in the early 2000s, so a lot of people started using it, but now it's just like a catchy song on the radio. Sure, it's not bad, but like it's played too much to the point where I just don't want to hear it. I don't want to listen to it anymore. Congratulations, Origins, you've become the Uptown Funk of the video game world. Alright, rant over. Anyways, the actual game looks pretty good. Now let me just say that I used to be a massive fan of Assassin's Creed. Assassin's Creed used to be like my #1 franchise, and I still hold very dear places in my heart to some of those games, like Assassin's Creed 2, Assassin's Creed Revelations was like my first real Assassin's Creed game, and then I played the other ones afterwards. Assassin's Creed 4 had so much fun with that, and I'm actually a big defender of Assassin's Creed Unity for the creative direction that it took the series. It's just, ever since Unity, they start to do what they did with the original one, where it's like they just kind of tweak it, but then they use the same formula again. They did that with Unity, and they tweaked it ever so slightly, and they came out with Syndicate, and I didn't really like Syndicate. This one, on the other hand, seems like, even though it's a little bit of a tweak, they're changing enough of it to where it brings something new to the table. Like the fact that there's no mini-map, or the fact that this goes way back into the past. Like, we were kind of advancing forward, but this one's going back to the very beginning of the Assassins and the origins of the Eagle Vision. And I understand that's probably why they call it Origins. I just think that name's really stupid. I really preferred the league title that we got a few months ago, Assassin's Creed Empire. It's a much better title, in my opinion, than Assassin's Creed Origins. But our main character, he's likable, I guess. His story's cool, but I need more time with him. The gameplay mechanics, on the other hand, look very refined in the aspect that you now have a more RPG kind of system where you can loot and equip different gears. You now have chain assassinations and skill points that you can spend. It's kind of like Far Cry, and it even has the whole scout things with an eagle like they did in Far Cry Primal. So they're taking heavy influence from Far Cry, and I love Far Cry, so I guess this might be the game to bring me back into Assassin's Creed. I'm still a little iffy on some things though, like the fact that you can move arrows like a batarang from the Arkham games. That's a little weird. Or the fact that the combat resembles like Dark Souls and doesn't really seem all that Assassin's Creed brutal. Like, I really like the combat from Unity. That felt really raw and intense, and this kind of feels kind of nerfed. But other than that, it looks intriguing enough for me to want to try it out. And that's all I really ask of a new Assassin's Creed, for them to be different enough for me to want to try it again.
Number 4.
Number 4 for me is the PS4 exclusive Days Gone. Now, I don't think that I'm the only one who thinks that we have way too many video games based around zombies. It's pretty much the same as like games titled Origins. It's just there's so many of them that, like, when developers say, oh, we have this new IP and all that, and you're kind of intrigued, they're like, it's about zombies, and you're just like, sorry, you don't get my money, because I've played your game. I've played your game for the past 15 years in every other zombie game, because there's like no innovation whatsoever. I mean, Dead Island was kind of cool, but then they just redid it so many times. They made like Dying Light and Dead Island Riptide, which sucked. Zombie games aren't cool anymore. Until Days Gone. This game focuses on what a zombie game should focus about. Not the actual zombies, but the characters. That's why people love the Walking Dead Telltale game. Because that's a character-driven story that just so happens to have zombies in it. That's why people love the show as well. Because the characters are so well realized and well written. You really believe in their motivations and their emotions. And this game seems like it understands that. Because all the footage I've seen has fantastic acting. It's motion captured. It looks beautiful. The character models are very, very nice. And our main character, I don't know his name, but he's a very likable protagonist who we can kind of relate to, even though he looks a bit like edgelordy. So they have that aspect right. And they also have the zombies right, because the zombies are an actual threat. Like, the point is that you have limited resources, and these zombies are like hecka fast. They run super fast, and they are a real threat to you. Like, you do not want to cross them. And that's what I want a zombie game to be. I want a zombie game to make me fear zombies. I know that seems crazy, right? You know, you want a zombie game to actually be scary. I know, that seems like such a big request from me. I apologize. You know what? Let's just go to number 3.
Number 3.
I already talked about it a little bit in this video, but Far Cry 5 was shown, and it looks really good. Now, I can't say that I've played every single Far Cry game. I have not played the first one. I played a bit of the second one, but I couldn't get into it. Third one is what really, like, drove me into the series, because I thought Far Cry 3 was so well done. It was so well acted, and the villain was so memorable. Just Voss as a villain his writing was fantastic. You were scared of him, and you just never knew what he was gonna do. He really showed insanity. And anyone who's played Far Cry 3 will appreciate that little thing I just threw in there. Far Cry 3 was so good, I absolutely adored that game. Far Cry 4 came out, and it was essentially the same thing as Far Cry 3, but in a different setting. And I understand that I've complained about like Assassin's Creed doing that, and zombie games doing that already in this video twice, but Far Cry 3 was such a masterpiece that I didn't really care playing it again in Far Cry 4. And Far Cry 4 had like better graphics and more innovative mechanics. So in all retrospect, Far Cry 4 systematically is a better game than Far Cry 3, but Far Cry 3 just imprinted on me so much, being the first one to really draw me into the series. That being said, Far Cry 5 looks like it's changing it up a bit, but it's still Far Cry. It's like not set in a foreign country anymore. It's set in good old Montana. You fight like rednecks. And the whole thing is that there's this fictional county called like Hope County in Montana, and it's overrun by a religious cult. And the whole aspect of this cult is that they need to save people, whether they want to be saved or not, because they don't know. They don't know what they've done wrong. And that's the main idea of the cult leader. And I found this premise very interesting. And the gameplay that they've showed, it looks gorgeous. And you have like an animal companion, because that's what everyone loved from Primal. I didn't like Primal, but it just seems like they've innovated it and tweaked it enough for the game to have a completely new vibe. And I love the franchise enough to follow them into this vibe that they're making. And I can't wait to play it. It looks really good.
Number 2.
Marvel's Spider-Man. As a superhero fan, I can say it's been a while since there's been like a really good Spider-Man game. I mean, like Spider-Man 2 was really good. And I even like Friend or Foe. Since like an open world Spider-Man game, we haven't had like some good ones in a while. And this one seems to change that. It seems like it's going to be the Batman Arkham Asylum of Spider-Man, except, you know, it's Spider-Man, he's cracking jokes, and it's not Batman being super brooding and dark and menacing in an insane asylum. But the swinging mechanics look fantastic. The graphics, like the visuals, also look fantastic. They use the same Spider-Man voice actor that they've used for like the past like 10 years, which I guess I'm fine with. But he's not like an exceptional voice actor. I'm just really excited because all the set pieces that they showed it looks like you're playing an action movie. And I understand that a lot of people will complain about the over-reliance on QuickTime events and how it's more like you're watching a movie than playing a game, but I don't see it that way. And even if you do see it that way, you gotta admit, it's a pretty awesome Spider-Man movie that you're playing. You either get a fantastic looking and playing game, or an awesome Spider-Man movie that you just so happen to control.
Number 1.
Number 1 is something that it intrigued me. That's the best thing I can say. It intrigued me because it's something new and fresh. It's from BioWare, and they make BioShock, obviously, which is like such a culturally loved game. That game has affected so many people in gaming. And then they show up and they show footage of this new idea that they've come up with called Anthem. And no, not the Ayn Rand book about conformity, but this like post-apocalyptic world where society is like this giant futuristic hub, and you have these suits called javelins that people can get in and customize, and you can play with your friends and all that. And then you go out into the world, which kind of looks like Pandora from Avatar, but way bigger in size and scope. It's just a gorgeous world that looks like it has a constant flowing ecosystem. As if you weren't playing this game, this world would still exist. And that's what every open world game should strive to be. Something that is believable. Something that you think already existed before you, the player, entered that world. But what I really like is the verticality of it. Because not only can you go to towering highs, but you can go to like staggering lows. It even shows them going underwater. And the second that suit goes underwater and everything turns blue, I was in awe because it was just so beautiful. Not to mention the javelin suits just look awesome, and it looks like, you know, the suit from like Dead Space, which I thought the suit from Dead Space was awesome too. But yeah, congratulations BioWare, you have definitely intrigued me. And I will buy your game because it looks really nice. Before I close off this video, I just want to say some quick honorable mentions. Metro Exodus, you were very pretty, and I really liked the the whole aspect of the mask clouding up when you breathe heavy, and it just seems like attention to detail like that is worth noting. Kingdom Hearts 3, you look like a lot of fun. Please don't cancel. I can't have you be another Half-Life 3. Just please come out, because you look really fun. And God of War, thank you for changing the formula. Like, this is a complete out of left field way for this franchise to go, and I really appreciate that artistic decision because it looks like it's paying off. Your game looks fantastic. Alright, that about sums up my feelings on the Electronic Entertainments Expo this year. A lot of cool things were shown. I really like 90% of the show, which is good considering that last year's was a little underwhelming. Can't wait till next year. Can't wait till next summer's expo, where I'll probably inevitably do another video like this talking about my feelings. Sorry this video wasn't that funny. I didn't feel like cracking jokes. I just really wanted to get down and talk about my feelings about this expo. But all in all, great expo. Everything showed passion and effort, and that's awesome, because the last thing you want is to pay all that money to go to an expo and then have all the games be disappointing and lackluster. And it has happened. Anyways, thank you for watching the Studio Ginger. If you liked today's video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps me out, and I'll see you next time. It's like 1:30 in the morning, or in the summer, and I'm sitting here talking about video games to a computer screen. I need friends.